Good morning. It is my great pleasure to introduce our keynote speaker this morning, Deanna Hartley. Let me begin with a little backstory about Deanna and graduation speeches. In 8th grade, Deanna entered a class competition at Holy Redeemer to write the speech that would be read at her 8th grade graduation. Although she worked tirelessly and composed a mini masterpiece, unfortunately, it was not chosen. Then there was that time in 2010 when her graduating class at De La Salle had not one, not two, but 3 valedictorians, and she was ranked number 4 in the class and did not get to speak. So today, in more ways than one, is D-Day, the day Deanna gets to deliver the speech-giving moment she has been pursuing for more than a decade. When we reflect on what it means to be a De La Salle alum, many qualities and characteristics come to mind, and Deanna Hartley embodies all of them. She graduated with first academic honors in 2010 and received the Gerald Bitz Award and the St. Joseph the Worker Award at her graduation 7 years ago. During her 4 years with us, she achieved and excelled at pretty much everything she did, which was a lot. Even that dance she organized on the second floor hallway that was prematurely shut down by our administrators ranks among her fondest memories. I have to mention that if we were to do a poll of De La Salle students who wore our school uniform like an expensive garment on a Parisian runway, Deanna would win hands down. But more about Paris and fashion later. Beyond her GPA and dress code excellence, Deanna was a member of our student council, a member of our student ambassador program, participated in a number of outreach and service projects through LYM, is a member of our National Honor Society, and spent a week on the Blackfeet Tribe Reservation in Montana during spring break of her junior year and tutored 5th graders. She was on De La Salle's track and volleyball teams, and eventually would become our first graduate to attend Georgetown University. Deanna entered to learn and left to serve. However, Georgetown is about as far away from Portland as one can get to attend college, and this did not initially sit well with her mom and dad. But the distance was just another challenge that Deanna could not wait to embrace. In 2014, Deanna graduated from Georgetown with a degree in cultural anthropology and a minor in studio art. At Georgetown, she was again very busy in addition to being a full-time student. Deanna served as vice president of GU MAPS, Georgetown's Minority Association of Pre-Health Students. She was the health chairperson for the NAACP and worked as a student ambassador for the American Eagle Clothing Company and for the American Anthropological Association as an executive assistant to the director of publishing. She also interned on Capitol Hill with Oregon Senator Ron Wyden. Although her interest in fashion and design has always been her passion, it was not until a year-long break from school after Georgetown when she decided to pursue a career in fashion. Deanna chose the master's program in fashion design at Drexel University in Philadelphia, where she is today, and which she will complete in the spring of 2018. In 2 weeks, Deanna will be traveling to Paris to pursue a certificate in, I'm not going to pronounce this right, nor do I know what this is, but anyway, to pursue a certificate in haute couture and embroidery at the, why are you laughing? At the École Les Sages owned by Chanel. Later this summer, she will be getting married in Portland, and her fiancé is here. There he is. And knowing Deanna, I have no doubt that every detail will be attended to, and it will be another perfect day in what has so far been a truly remarkable journey. Ladies and gentlemen, Ms. Deanna Hartley.
Thank you, Mr. Z, for that amazing introduction. And thank you to Mr. Hennessy and the Graduation Planning Committee for inviting me and making it possible for me to be with you all today. I want to first start off by saying congratulations to all of you for getting to this point in your life. Graduating from high school is a huge accomplishment, and I am so excited to provide a little bit of advice as you begin the next chapter. I had no idea what I was going to say to you all because there were just so many experiences that I hope to share. After reflecting on my experience in high school and eventually college, I realized that finding purpose was a theme that perfectly summed up each life lesson that I've encountered so far. Unfortunately, I am not here to tell you what your purpose is, but rather give you a roadmap that will hopefully help direct you on the right path towards finding your own purpose and passion in life. My first point is borrowed from my fiance, Jordan. Be comfortable with being uncomfortable. We all have been placed in uncomfortable situations. However, I'm neither talking about the discomfort from, let's say, prom when your date decides to pass gas in the limo and act like it wasn't them. Nor when you space out in class and you're called on to answer the question you failed to hear. That has happened to me before. I'm referring to the time you had the opportunity to introduce yourself to someone of influence and your nerves got the best of you, so you didn't. Or that moment you asked to speak publicly, but you said no. When you step outside your comfort zone is when new possibilities and opportunities begin to be revealed. I was the first person from De La Salle North Catholic to attend Georgetown University in Washington, D.C., and I was so scared. I didn't know anyone, which meant that I had to meet new people and learn how to manage new challenges and expectations away from my home without my immediate support group. Ironically, one of the hardest moments in my life was the best learning experience of my life. I gained confidence in who I was, and when I had the chance to walk up and introduce myself to the Ralph Lauren himself a few years after graduating, I did. Be comfortable with being uncomfortable. My second life lesson that I would like to share is one that I am learning to embrace: failure. Use failure as a tool to learn. It's April 2014, and I'm on cloud 9 because I had just received an email from an accounting firm on Wall Street with a job offer. We are talking about a job with all the perks, including a 1-month training opportunity in London, along with signing bonuses and a luxury apartment in Manhattan. All I had to do was successfully complete my classes before graduation. It's now May 2014, a week before graduation, and I just received an email from my Spanish professor saying I failed my class. Yes, I failed intermediate Spanish too. And yes, I lost my job offer. Sorry, Mr. Hennessy, it looks like large donations and my name will have to wait a few more years. I was completely devastated, and I had a breakdown. With much prayer and help from my then boyfriend, now fiance, I was able to see that God's plan for me was not Wall Street and that job. I had no interest in accounting at all, and partially applied for the position because it would pay for a trip to Europe. I always wanted to work in fashion, but was too afraid at failing and not living up to the standards I had for myself. I was not comfortable with being uncomfortable, so failure was my aha moment that changed my perspective. Use failure as a tool to learn. My third life lesson that I would like to share is to ask questions. The most successful people in life have all asked questions that others thought were ridiculous. For example, it may not be easy to ask your boss for a promotion. It may not have been easy for senators to ask the former FBI director tough questions. It's not easy to ask a doctor a question about your health. It's not easy to ask questions about race and issues surrounding equity or discrimination, but those questions need to be asked, and they are essential to making progress as a society if we are serious about achieving social change and justice. You may not always receive the answers you want to hear, but you will be better for it, even when what you hear doesn't seem consistent with who you think you are. Ask yourself, what am I good at? What can I improve? What is my definition of friendship? What is success? What makes me happy? Am I happy? Do I need help? Change is fueled by the questions we ask, and taking the time to ask them can lead you in the right direction towards self-discovery and hopefully purpose. Just recently, I asked myself if I am ready to spend the rest of my life with another person in marriage, and I answered yes, but not without first thinking about the significance about what I am about to do. Ask questions. So take the time to get to know yourself, who you are, and what you believe in. However, let me remind you that everything around you works to curate your life. Purpose is found through understanding that it takes a collective group of experiences and people around us to form our identity. You may not remember everything that you've learned from De La Salle, and you won't remember the 5 core principles verbatim, but I can guarantee that you will have compassion and concern for the poor and will continue to care about community service. Creating spaces that build community will become more important than ever, and you will consistently be learning. You will also see God in spaces that you never thought you'd see him, and there will be a certain level of respect that you will have for others. You will begin to see yourself mature and grow, and this type of change is good. I want to conclude by saying this: you are not alone on this journey towards finding purpose. You are a part of a network of people who love and care about you. There will be times when you won't feel comfortable in uncomfortable situations. Failure may get you down, and finding answers to your questions may seem far from reach. Just know that this is a part of the journey, and in the midst of it, it may not make sense, but I promise you that if you continue to seek God and approach life positively, you will find fulfillment in your journey. Thank you.